morning and welcome back to Sun Up on 7. In case you missed us just now, we had an amazing conversation with an organization in Toledo talking about the initiatives that they've been doing down there, and it's quite frankly amazing because they're touching everything from agriculture, education, athletics, and all of those good things, and hopefully we get to see them expand even more. We know Toledo is somewhat considered our forgotten district, and it brings me to tears almost to say that here is something very positive happening in our lower district. But now we're switching conversation back to where we began this morning, and it's on the topic of domestic violence, and we have here with us Miss Jemema Arnold, who is a survivor of domestic violence, and we would like to thank her for being here with us on the couch this morning and sharing her powerful story with us and our viewers. So without further ado, good morning, Miss Arnold. How are you this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm fine. I'm
feeling
blessed,
good?
Of course.
Yeah?
You're looking good, girl. So
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we even got on to the segment, we were talking about, how we're gonna run this story, how we're gonna run this episode right now when it comes to telling your story, the impact that we want it to have on the viewers. And I think really what's super important to start off with is, like I mentioned, what do you feel were the factors or the pushing determinants that caused you to get first into a violent relationship?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to start off with saying that nobody deserves to be abused, whether it be physical, emotional, financial, sexual, either. When it comes to me, I was 19 years old. I'd lost my mother when I was 15. So once I become 18, the age of consent, you no longer receive the same support you were receiving while you were a minor. So that had forced me to, I had looked for love and, So I confided, and I started to confide a lot in he's my first boyfriend. But little did I know that later these would have been used against me, So from I was 19 years old, I met him. However, we started dating and whatever. And I did see the red flags. However, I didn't want the relationship to end, just the abuse, So people would look at you and they would ask, like, why do they stay? Why do they stay? We do live in fear. However, I'd like to let anybody know that fear is not a factor. You need to learn to first love yourself. And growing up, I didn't get a lot of these nurturing as a female. You need to have constant reassurance of your worth.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get a lot of that.
Interesting.
So it's almost like, since you never got a lot of that, you tried to find that in somewhere or someone else, and not realizing that, or you were somewhat receiving it, but at whatever cost, that wasn't in your mind at that point.
There was something else added to that.
Yes.
Maybe you received that love in different forms.
Of course.
Of course, no one's just gonna stay for just staying sake.
Exactly.
There was definitely that in the initial state.
Right.
Yes.
And so could you tell us a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, how the relationship played out when it comes to the abuse that you were receiving? And then more on, what was that factor that made you realize, I think this needs to stop?
Okay, so it had started long before I've had my son. Afterwards, it started to reach the point whereby I couldn't go anywhere, see any family or see any friends, and it was really devastating. However, I was receiving information that this needs to stop and you need to come out, because when you're dealing with somebody, a narcissist, when you're dealing with them, they don't care, all right? They're going to embarrass you in public, behind closed doors, anywhere, So there were incidents whereby we had gotten into fights on the streets, anywhere, like I tell you, and it would have reached my family, and then I would be like, I would tell them it's a lie, that never happened, like, where are you getting this information? What? Of course. So I'm not going to scandal. What? So I used to protect him a lot. And I'd be like, where did you get those information? And then that is where I started to lose my family support, my friends, everybody, because I was covering up. You know, I was in denial. I was in a different world. So I had gotten pregnant with my son and had him at age 20, but it never stopped. It only gotten worse. And as my son was growing up, he became smarter and smarter, and he started to see these events happening right in front of him. And I would look at him when he learned how to talk. He would ask me, "Mommy, why are you crying? Is it that it make you cry?" You know, and that struck me.
Yeah.
That struck me. And I didn't know what to do because oftentimes you can't just get up and say, "Okay, I will leave today." You know, work like that because they will look for you wherever they put out a missing report because they're not really correct. You know, so I look for my son every day and I realize that I will owe this to him, you know, and this another way. So I gathered up the courage and I didn't want him to grow up in a home like that. So I gathered the courage and I left.
How long after the birth of your son did you leave?
4 years.
3 years. So you were in a relationship for basically 4 years? Oh,
Yep.
wow. And I could imagine, and something you said earlier that I could see happening. You're being ostracized from your friends, your family. You feel like you cannot talk to them anymore
Yeah.
because it's the same message, like you said.
Of
Why you still there? Why you not left yet? Or no, he not good for you. She not good for you. Whatever the case may be. Could you tell us more about that feeling itself? Because I could imagine it being, you feel very lonely at that point, and the only love you're getting is from the abuse.
It's the wrong kind of love, though, because you can't love somebody and hurt them. How can you do that? You know? So I realized that very quickly, and I felt alone, and I felt as if this is the way I want to carry myself. This is the way I want to live my life. I was like, no, of course not. I never saw a future with him, but the only problem was planning on how I'm going to execute the fact that I need to get out. That was my main problem, you know, and I gathered the courage after a couple embarrassments and after a couple scandals here and there. And I gathered the courage on my own because only you as a female, you have to know that you don't want to be in that, you know? So for me, I just want to set a trend for a lot of other females that are going through this.
In regards to now getting out of this relationship and moving forward, carrying on with your life, how do you think this has played into how you carry out with friendships, intimate relationships? How do you think it plays now for you?
Well, no, I'd say that I needed to have gone through that to know exactly what I want and, of course, what I don't want. So when it comes to me dating after this, there's a wall, of course. However, well, I've been told that it's going to be hard to love somebody like me. But it's fine. I can tell you that the right person is going to take their time with you. They're going to wait. You know, so there's no need for you to be stuck in a relationship thinking that, oh, it's your fault, and this is what you allowed me to do to you. How could you, you know? They're going to be the ones with the victim mindset, I can tell you that.
Yes.
You know, and everything that I did was wrong.
Yep.
Everything I did was wrong. But I can tell any female today that the right man is going to wait for you and love you the way you're supposed to be loved.
Amazing. I mean, like, tearing up here, but
Yeah, I'm sure.
in terms of now you're outside of the relationship, and I know that after the relationship, you feel, like you said, you feel like you might not be worth it, you might not be whatever. How could you, or what message would you have to give to our victims out there, both male and female, about discovering that path of self-love again? Because after that relationship, you feel depleted.
Of course.
You feel worthless.
Of course.
So in that path of self-discovery and self-love, what would you have to offer to our viewers out there who may be going through the same thing or who are in the same position?
Well, it first starts with yourself. put yourself first, honor yourself, and believe that you deserve to have a normal and a decent life as everybody else. For me, I used to watch people in my age dating and having a normal relationship. But there was one point where I thought, maybe I'm just not fortunate enough to have a normal life, and that is wrong because everyone deserves it.
Wow. I really appreciate you saying, looking and understanding that everyone has that right to have a normal, decent relationship. Our argument shouldn't be something where I end up hurt and you gaslight me because you don't want to own up to your responsibilities. And so I want you, because you're a mother of a son too as well, so you're raising up a young man into this world. What is your advice to mothers out there when it comes to raising their sons, making sure that they choose a path that is gentle and loving and compassionate to the young women out there? And mothers in general, because I mean, you can raise up female abusers as well. So
exactly. So for the mothers, I would say first you'd have to nurture your daughter. Allow them to talk to you, as anything comes up that is bothering them, allow them to talk to you. Create a safe space for your child, whether it be a male or a female. For me, raising my son, he's going to be growing up in a home, seeing a man loving his mom. That is my only goal, because children do what they see.
Right.
So that is my ultimate goal for the females that are raising daughters. Take your time with them, and do not stay in a home that is going to deplete your child's future. I never grew up in an abusive home. I never experienced something like that. So for me, it was strange, and I wasn't going to allow my son to do the same.
I love that. And I really just want to tell you how much we appreciate you sharing your story, because it takes a lot of bravery and courage. There are many viewers here that are saying that they're super proud of you, and how that you really are someone that can be looked up to, and the relationship should be taking time and patience, and they're right with you with how you stand. I think TJ Smith, he's saying that's my friend and all of that stuff. But I want you to know that there's an echoing of support and love pouring in from our viewers at home, thanking you for that. And again, we also thank you for being here.
Thank you, yes.
And so with that, we actually, I know the segment was short and to the point, right? It was good, but we truly appreciate it. Honestly, I am moved by your story. I know Brandon was over here to try hold it. But it's impactful to see, how much you have rise from the ashes, and you're such a beautiful young lady, and the mindset that you've had. And I love that you said that you needed to go through this to know what you don't want.
Unfortunately, I had to,
And that's a sense of maturity and growth that many people, because people have that, why I had to go through this, but you're understanding.
You can always feel sorry for yourself. You're not going to reach anywhere with a victim mindset. You're not going to reach anywhere.
True. So for those out there, as you know, Ms. Arnold has said, you need to find that love and worth in yourself. For mothers out there, create an environment where children feel that they can talk to you about any and everything, and don't let them have to see abuse in the household. Is very important that you set a standard for them right now as we go forward. And so with that, we go to our next commercial break. When we're back, Brandon will be getting a haircut. So we start off right there.
No, people, I'm not chopping it all off.
Everything. Okay, let's just see how he looks. Imagine just chop off every single thing. We'll have King Cuts decide how Brandon's hair future will lie. Stay tuned for that exciting demonstration.